Hey guys, it's Janet with Crafting It Up in Creations, coming at you with my part 2 of my beach decor, nautical theme type decor that I've done using mostly Dollar Tree items, but I have thrown in some different things from Michael's and Hobby Lobby. So stay tuned if you want to see how I made all this really cute, cool stuff. So I started out with pizza pans from the Dollar Tree. I have 3 of them here, but that's because I'm gifting 2 of these to my sister-in-laws. So I went ahead and made 3. And I kind of laid them all out in the yard, and I spray painted the grass just a little bit. And this is the satin dark brown. I kind of did it along the bottom edge of the pizza pans to kind of look like the ground. And then I have Sapphire Shimmer Glitter Blast spray, and I did it right above it. Kind of look like the horizon. And it only takes a couple coats of these. It covers really well. And this is Sparkling Waters in the Glitter Blast spray as well. And I did it on the upper edge and even kind of did it right along the horizon edge, so it kind of all blends in together nicely. And I did all 3 of those. And I did use a textured spray paint on this one, but I didn't end up thinking that it made any difference because I'm going to cover that area with sand. So these are some of the starfish that I actually picked up while I was at the beach, and I'm going to just add them to that. I did seal the pizza pans with the Glitter Blast sealer, and I'm going to use that Satin Almond later. Jute twine. These are wooden icons from Michael's. They're $1.50 each, and they're like bargain bins. And then I do end up using the silver leafing pen. And these are awesome. And let me tell you, you may even be able to get something like that cheaper at True Value than you can at your Hobby Lobby. Multi-purpose rope. I did have some rope that I had used from Target, but I didn't have enough to do all 3. And that multi-purpose rope from True Value was actually cheaper. So there's the jute rope that I got from Target, if you're able to find that. You can get seashells from the Dollar Tree. They come in all kinds of different varieties now. When I first picked them up, they didn't have but just the large flat ones. And those are pretty, but they didn't have the mixture. So I had bought a bag at Walmart, and I am trying to use that up, and that's that bag. And this bag, I believe, was like $7. So if you can find them at your Dollar Tree, it is so totally worth it. But like I say, I'm just going to try to use some of these up. And then I've got the tan sand from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use this E6000. And I even end up using that 1 tube up finally. So I start by going ahead and just placing my starfish where I want it. And I place some sea glass that I bought at the beach. And yes, I bought it. You couldn't find anything on the beach. It's too much in season right now to find all the good stuff on the beach. And I kind of all place them down first and then put my sand around it. That way it kind of looks like sometimes, you know, even if I hit the Mod Podge up against something and it got a little sand on it, I just felt like that just made it look that much more like it was sandy. And so I give this a nice coat. It doesn't have to be real thick. It can be quite thin, actually. That sand is going to stick right to it, especially the first coat. You can make it pretty thin. And I kind of shuffle through a lot of this so that you're not bored by just watching me do it. Tap that off, and then I go through and just paint on the rest of this Mod Podge and add my sand to that. So I do leave out a lot of details, you know, throughout all this, so you don't have to keep watching it all. But I go through this first one for you. And that's my daughter getting ready to go swimming. So that's 1 coat. And I actually go back and add 2 more coats of this. And you don't really have to wait for it to completely dry in order to do that. You just have to kind of give it a few minutes. Sometimes if you kind of brush over it again, it will move that other sand around. But honestly, if you just kind of pounce over it, you know, and just kind of tap it, it really doesn't move that sand around much. And I blame this on the fact that I'm just kind of impatient. But it is nice to kind of build up the sand. You could, in all theory, wait for each layer to dry completely. I'd give it about a day. But I'm not into that, so I go ahead and just keep on adding. And I'm going to show you just a little spot there where it kind of builds it up. And you can already tell just how much difference that made. So I'm going to continue and do all that all the way around. And I'm getting a little better with this. Like, I decided to time-lapse my video some, and that's why I am super speedy now. And now I'm going to add that jute rope all the way around that pizza pan. And I tie it just in a regular knot up top. And I even drew a heart in the sand. So these are wooden shapes that the Dollar Tree sold this year, just as decor, and they all are super cute. But the colors don't really match, so if you didn't really like all of them, they are all different kind of colors. But I love that little seahorse. It is so cute. But I couldn't keep myself from buying them all, so I'm going to show you all kinds of different things that I did with these. Now, the first thing I did was I painted the back of these with that Satin Almond Krylon Color Master Paint and Primer. And this is what they look like. Now, on the back, as you can tell, I didn't do anything to the back. So, in theory, some of these I could turn them around and use again. And I did attempt to spray paint the other side just to see what it would look like, but it didn't turn out very well. That's what it looks like up close. And there's the little cute dolphin. There's a fish. And then there's a starfish. And I'm gonna work on these. I decide that I want to decorate this seashell, and I was just gonna put seashells on it and, you know, maybe some sand, but then I found this Wall Creations. It says I was made for sunny days, and I decide that that will fit on this seashell. And I'm all about using some of this Dollar Tree wall art because, one, it is a great deal for $1, and two, I just need to use up some of it. I don't have enough wall space for all this stuff, and I keep buying them. So I kind of just line everything up, and I kind of get my head in the way. I apologize. And I stick it on there. And fret not. If you don't stick it down just correctly, you can lift it back up and push it back down again. That is the best thing about this wall art. And I kind of rub it in to try to get all those air bubbles out of it as well. And I wasn't going to add on this little piece, but then I decided, oh, what the heck. It kind of added to the whimsical part of it all. And I think that looks really good. I'm like so excited. So these were little tiny shells that I got at the beach as well, and some of that sea glass. And I'm going to end up adding some of that stuff to it. Now these are acrylic icons that Michael sold, and they're beautiful. And I even had some charms. Those are from Walmart, but I didn't end up using those on anything, but they're super cute too. There's my Dollar Tree sand. And so I kind of pick out some smaller pieces of sea glass and put on there. And I just decorate it, you know, just how I see fit. There's no right or wrong way to add your stuff. I know in theory that they say groups of 3 are pleasing to the eye. So sometimes, you know, like if you're even putting the sea glass on or seashells, they say groups of 3. I didn't really stick with all that. I just did what I thought looked good. So here I am speed crafting again. I used the jute twine to make a hanger for that. And I decide, oh, I think I'll add some sand to the bottom of it. And here's what it looks like in the finished product. And that sand doesn't rub off. I love that Mod Podge. The acrylic icons are $3, but they do put that stuff on sale every now and again. Now this is a silver leafing pen. This is very optional. You would not even need to do this for the little seahorse, but I did go around the edges with the silver leafing pen. It kind of just adds a little something to it. And that's my little seahorse. That's the first one that I did. And I did use these little wooden icons, and I added the silver leafing pen to that as well. And I just went all the way around the edges of that. It's kind of like a chisel tipped pen, and so it goes around pretty nicely. And I even did it with this anchor. My one sister-in-law loves anchors, so I ended up putting that on one of the pizza pans for her. And there's my silver leafing pen, and I'm going to show you what a difference that it actually makes when you add it to this little acrylic icon. And these are so pretty. I actually went back to the Michael's yesterday and got a couple more because I really love that little seahorse. And they even have a whale and a steering wheel. So I add that rope to the edge. I think this is actual rope, you know, that people use for, you know, industrial type stuff, so, but it works really well. And then I decide maybe I should add one of the little seahorses to the one that I'm going to use the anchor on. And I gotta say, I just love how these turned out. You know, sometimes in your mind you come up with things, and then when you go to make them, you're just like, oh wow, that's really super cute. And some of the acrylic pieces, you just have to kind of flip them over and make sure whichever side you're going to use is the prettier side. Every now and again they scratch, so you just have to watch. And I used hot glue for all of these. I started out trying to use the E6000 and the hot glue, so maybe the stay would be better, but in the end I just ended up using the hot glue and it worked fine. So I do the silver leafing pen over him, but I only do the front. I didn't do the sides of him because I kind of felt like that made him still blend in with that blue background. So I only put the silver leafing pen right on top of him. And certainly play around with stuff like this. If you want to even make something, you know, at all similar, you definitely can't go wrong by any way you decorate it. There's kind of my finished product. And I don't have that one hanging up at the end because I actually delivered that one yesterday to my sister-in-law. Ended up in Harrisonburg, Virginia, and I hit the Hobby Lobby while we were there as well. And there's the very first one that I made. So here I'm going to take these wooden pieces, and I decided this was so cool to add this rope around the Starfish because I was like, I really have a lot of extra rope now. What else can I do with it? So I thought this shape itself lent easily to, you know, going around and outlining it. So I just take my hot glue all the way around, you know, sections at a time, and just add it to that Starfish. And every now and again my kids walk by and give me a kiss on the cheek or an I love you in the middle of crafting. That's the best part about crafting in the middle of your dining room. But right now that's where I get my best light. So I fidget around. I used one of the smaller Starfish that I did get at the beach. I used those up I love them. And then I just glue randomly on the seashells onto this one. And then the funnest idea that I had was to do like a little message in a bottle, because I do jewelry as well, and I've bought several of these little bottles, and this one's kind of awkward big, so it just made to look like a message in a bottle so much better than anything else that I had, and it used it up, because I probably would have never hung that on a necklace per se, just because it was so big. And there it is. And I just rolled up a piece of white paper and threw it in there. It'll never come out, so I really wasn't worried about writing on it, but I almost did. I put the little stopper in and decide where I'm going to put it, and I put one little string of glue on that, and you can't even see the glue from the outside. And then I have this little baby sea turtle. It's just a silver bead, but I decided I would just add him to that too, just to give it a little bit more whimsical flair. And I look at all the other shapes, and I decide the fish is probably the only one that otherwise that I could add that rope to, because the seahorse and the dolphin are just kind of too small, and I didn't feel like it just wouldn't look right. Now his mouth I could have done a little bit better on, but this is really wide rope, or tight rope even, so I was like, well, we'll just go around it the best I can. And in the end, you can't even really see the lips the way they were, so I think it still looks good. And I'm going to just go around and outline him the same exact way. And I go down and look through all my wall art, and I find another saying that I can add to this one as well. The only drawback to this rope is it was hard to cut. I don't think it's really meant for scissors. Our local True Value had a sale for July 4th where they had 50% off any one item, and it was up to $100, so you could get $50 off. And I went around trying to find things and got a hummingbird feeder in the end. This rope was on sale for like $6 for this whole big bundle, so I thought that was a super great deal. And all my craft stores are like at least an hour away, so in order to go find this type of rope to try to finish up this video footage, it was like a blessing in disguise to find that. So I decorate this little fish about the same way. I just kind of throw things on there. I decided to use one of the steering wheels, and I put the silver leafing pen to that too. So it doesn't even look like wood almost. It actually looks like it's, you know, metal. So I think that's pretty cool. And then I'm going to use another one of those starfish. Like I say, I do use them up. I can't believe I didn't break one of those things, because they had to come all the way home from the beach, and then I constantly dropped them or something the whole time I was crafting. It was unreal. Which I would have glued it back together, but still. So I'm going through my seashell bags, and I want some bigger ones and some smaller ones on here, and I just decorate the bottom of this like crazy. Now in hindsight, and this is the best thing about watching videos like this, if you think you're going to use the wall art on it, then your best bet is to put that down first and then add your seashells. But being the crafter that I am, I always do things bass backwards. And I just kind of play around with this and add this stuff to it. But I found the cute wall art from Dollar Tree that says, "You are my sunshine." And I just thought that was a great saying. You know, kind of like that I was made for sunny days. Totally. Especially when you're talking about beach theme and or even nautical theme. That's what we want. Pretty sunny days. And there's what I have. I did leave the little quotes off of the sun part. And when I was peeling this off, I didn't realize that the sunshine was all one piece. So watch me fumble through that. And again, here's where you get to see me pull this whole thing up to kind of make room for all of it. And that is what I say is the best thing about this wall art. Now, sticking it to anything else besides like a freshly painted wall or a painted wall is that, you know, if it's on a rough surface, it may not come up so well. But since this is, you know, painted with the spray paint, it does pull up really nicely. So I'm really not quite sure if it would pull up so nice on anything else. And this is where I decide, yeah, let's move it around a little. And even on some of this, I really didn't care if it overlapped some. But I'm going to end up moving the sunshine part again, and I'm going to actually cut off that exclamation point and add it back. And this one really was my favorite one in the end. Which I really love the dolphin and the seahorse. I did not do a whole lot to those because I think they just look good the way they are. But this was really my favorite. And I'm going to hang these a little differently than what I show in the video. I've got my little beach themed dry sink set up, and I wanted to hang some of these in behind it. But it's been a busy week, so I didn't get quite to that part yet on hanging it up. And some of these others I have hung up in my kitchen, and so where they're hanging is where they'll stay. So there's the finished product. I just kind of added the rope. I covered up the holes that would have hung that one by with that rope, so I was like, well, how can I fix that? So I just hot glued the other rope onto the back, and it's working just fine. It's still hanging up there. I ended up having to get a little piece of wire to poke this twine through. That's where I tried to paint it on the other side, and I just did not like that. But I used that wire to poke the twine through and to tie it off at a knot. And this, I did not use the words on here. I guess I could have, but I'm just going to use the little squiggly lines. And I end up using all 4 of them. And I kind of look around and see where I want that. And I kind of think, oh, that on this tail looks really good. So the seahorse, I add the jute twine to hang from. I just tie these off in a simple knot. And that one I added to the front of the seahorse. The dolphin I did to the back so that it would hang at an angle. And I just go to town. I just decide I'm going to add all of them, because I want it to make it look like maybe his tail's even moving while he's sitting there. And the seashells that I got from the beach have like little snail-looking shells in them, and they had blue. And I'm like, oh, that would make a perfect little eyeball. So I stick one on each of them. And then I add one little seashell to his little fin to the back. And I just think these are super cute. Of course, I love them just the way they were. My little dolphin I add an eye to. And I was really intrigued to do something a little bit different with these because of a beach themed decor that I watched Bargain Bethany do. So if you haven't seen her channel, and you probably have because she's way more popular than I am, then check hers out because she did a beach theme too. She did Beach Week. So I have those mirror stickers from the Dollar Tree as well, and I decide that I'm going to add little hearts to these just to give them something else because I don't know when to quit. So that's really it for this part 2 of my beach theme, nautical type theme decorations. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I say craft it up every day. I work on something a little bit almost every day. When I work 12-hour shifts, not so much. But here's all my finished products. If you do enjoy videos like this, please give me a thumbs up. That really helps my channel, and it lets YouTube know the kinds of things that you like to see and still want to see. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. I'll try to list everything that I used in this video down in the description box below as well. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. Take care and God bless.